Welcome back to episode 5 of the History of AI.
Episode 5 already.
All right, time flies.
It really does. So in our last deep dive, we were exploring AI-generated art and music.
Yeah.
And we saw how creative.
How creative these systems can be.
Yeah, but it left us with a pretty big question.
A big one.
Can machines be truly original?
It's a question that's been bugging philosophers and artists for a while now.
Yeah, and to get to the bottom of it, we need to understand how AI actually creates...
Mechanics of it.
Yeah, okay, so let's unpack this.
Okay.
We know that AI models, like GPT-4...
The one behind ChatGPT.
Yeah, are trained on mountains of data, like books...
Mountains and mountains.
Code...
Reddit threads.
But how does that lead to something original?
It's all about patterns. These models are like pattern recognition machines.
Okay.
They just devour all this data, learn the statistical relationships between words, musical notes, brushstrokes, you name it.
So it's not just copying and pasting?
Definitely not. Think of it like this. Imagine you've read every detective novel ever written.
You start to get a feel for the tropes, the twists, the classic whodunit structure.
Mm-hmm.
You might even be able to predict the ending just based on the first few chapters.
I can see where you're going with this.
AI models are doing something very similar, but on a scale we can barely fathom.
Wow.
They've absorbed patterns from so much data that they can generate outputs that are statistically unique, not direct copies,
Gotcha.
but new arrangements of existing elements.
So it's like a mega remix.
Exactly, a mega remix of human culture.
And that idea of remixing isn't so foreign to human creativity either.
Not at all.
Shakespeare borrowed plots.
Picasso drew inspiration from African masks.
Even the Beatles were influenced by blues and rock and roll.
Exactly.
So is AI doing something fundamentally different? Or is it just doing it with a much bigger toolbox?
That is where it gets a little tricky, because a lot of people, push back on this idea of AI originality.
Okay, that.
And one of the biggest sticking points is intent.
Right, a machine doesn't want to write a poem. It just predicts the most probable sequence of words based on all that data.
Exactly. So the question becomes, can something without desires, without lived experience, be truly original?
Yeah, I see what you mean. A machine might create something we've never seen before, but can we call it original if it doesn't come from a place of genuine creative impulse?
Yeah, and some folks argue that AI is just a reflection of human creativity, a mirror rather than a source of light.
And if that's true, are we looking at a future where creative output becomes stagnant? Like what if AI starts training on AI-generated content?
That's what some people call the infinite regression problem.
Infinite regression.
Yeah, imagine AI music that's been trained on nothing but other AI-generated tunes.
Oh, wow.
It's easy to see how things could get really repetitive really quickly.
A world of artistic echoes.
Yeah, not exactly inspiring.
Not really, but what if AI could break free from its reliance on human data?
Now we're talking.
That's where this whole AGI thing comes in, right?
Precisely. Artificial General Intelligence, AGI, still largely theoretical.
Right.
But the idea is to create a machine that can think and reason like a human, capable of solving problems we haven't even considered.
So potentially creating art that's truly groundbreaking.
Exactly. Imagine an AGI learning from first principles, like a child discovering the world for the first time. Or even evolving through trial and error, being rewarded for coming up with truly novel solutions.
That's mind-blowing.
It is pretty mind-blowing.
But let's be real, true AGI is still a long way off, so how do we push the boundaries of machine creativity with the AI we have now?
Well, there are a few fascinating paths being explored.
Okay.
One is to train AI on synthetic data, procedurally generated landscapes, for example.
Okay.
Or music created by algorithms. This avoids that whole copyright quagmire.
That's clever, but wouldn't that make the AI's output feel a bit artificial?
I see what you mean, lacking that human touch. It's a valid concern, which is why another approach focuses on human-AI collaboration. Think of AI as a creative sparring partner.
So like AI brainstorming with a human artist.
Exactly.
I've seen those Adobe Firefly tools that let you generate images based on existing licensed artwork.
Yeah.
Seems like a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. It's about leveraging the strengths of both human intuition and emotion, combined with AI's ability to rapidly explore and iterate.
Yeah, I like that.
But there's another fascinating avenue that gets closer to mimicking the way our own brains work. Neuromorphic chips.
Neuromorphic chips. Okay, you're going to have to break that down for me.
Imagine a chip that's structured like the human brain, with billions of interconnected neurons.
Yeah.
These chips could potentially allow AI to generate ideas more organically.
So less like a computer crunching numbers and more like a brain having a thought.
Exactly.
That's pretty wild.
It is pretty wild. It's still early days.
Yeah.
But if we can replicate those creative sparks in a machine, who knows what's possible?
That's true. But before we get too carried away with the future, let's bring this back down to earth. We've got AI generating content right now, and it's raising some thorny legal questions.
You're talking about the copyright debate.
Yeah.
It's a minefield. We've got AI trained on copyrighted material, but its outputs are technically unique. So where do we draw the line?
It's a tough one. We've seen cases like the New York Times suing OpenAI, artists going after Stability AI.
Yeah.
If a court decides AI art can't be copyrighted, does that mean it's inherently lacking in originality?
It raises some fascinating questions about the legal definition of authorship and what it means to own an idea in the age of AI.
And beyond the legal implications,
Yeah,
there are ethical considerations too, right?
of course.
How do we make sure that AI is used responsibly in the creative process?
That's where things get really interesting. One idea is to implement a system of compulsory licensing for AI training data.
So similar to how musicians pay royalties when they sample someone else's work.
Exactly. AI companies could be required to compensate the creators whose work is being used to train their models.
That seems fair, but what about ensuring that access to data is equitable? Not everyone has the resources to train an AI on a massive data set.
That's why expanding the public domain and creating open source data sets specifically for AI training are so important. It helps level the playing field.
It's all about making sure that AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Exactly. It's about using this technology to amplify human creativity, not replace it.
Well said. And on that note, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
We've explored how AI creates, the thorny question of originality, and the potential for both stagnation and breakthrough.
It's a lot.
But there's still so much more to unpack.
Absolutely. In our next segment, we'll delve deeper into the philosophical implications of AI originality and what it might mean for the future of human creativity.
I can't wait.
Me neither. It's fascinating to think that by trying to make AI original, we're actually forced to examine what human originality really is.
It's like AI is holding up a mirror to our own creative process.
Exactly. It makes us ask, what sets humans apart? Where do our ideas come from? What about our lived experience allows us to create things that feel genuinely new and innovative?
I've been thinking about this idea of lived experience. Does that mean an AI can never be truly original until it can experience the world the way we do?
It's a compelling argument, but then you have to ask yourself, what is lived experience? Is it just a collection of sensory data and emotions? If we could somehow feed that data into an AI, would that be enough?
Whoa, now we're getting into some serious Matrix territory.
Yeah.
But I see your point. It makes you wonder if there's some essential ingredient missing in AI, something that goes beyond data and algorithms.
And some people believe that ingredient is consciousness, the idea that a machine can't be truly original until it's self-aware, until it has a sense of self driving its creative impulses.
That's a pretty high bar. We're not even sure how to define consciousness in humans, let alone replicate it in a machine.
You're absolutely right, but the debate itself is illuminating. It forces us to grapple with questions we might not have considered otherwise. What does it mean to be creative, to be original, to be human?
It's like AI is pushing us to understand ourselves better, which I guess is a pretty original outcome in itself.
I like that. And even if we never achieve true AGI, even if AI remains a tool in the hands of human creators, it has the potential to revolutionize the way we make art, write music, tell stories.
You mean AI could become a kind of collaborator, a creative partner?
Precisely. Think of those AI-powered tools that help musicians compose melodies or writers overcome writer's block. They're not replacing the artist. They're augmenting their abilities, helping them explore new possibilities.
So instead of fearing that AI will make human creativity obsolete, we should be thinking about how to use this technology to unlock new levels of creative expression.
Absolutely. AI can help us push the boundaries of what's possible, explore uncharted territories, generate ideas we might never have thought of on our own.
And maybe, just maybe in the process of teaching AI to be original, we'll learn a thing or two about our own creative potential.
That's a beautiful thought, because at the end of the day, creativity is about connection, about sharing our unique perspectives with the world. Whether that expression comes from a human mind or a sophisticated algorithm, it has the power to move us, inspire us, challenge us.
I think that's a great place to leave this part of our conversation. We've explored the philosophical side of AI originality, and it's clear that this debate is far from over. But One thing is for sure, AI is forcing us to rethink what it means to be creative, to be human, in a world where the line between man and machine is becoming increasingly blurred.
Exactly. And as we move into the final part of our deep dive, we'll consider what this all means for the future. How might AI shape the creative landscape in the years to come? What new possibilities and challenges might we face? And ultimately, what role will humans play in this evolving story of creativity?
So we've really gone deep on how AI creates and wrestled with that whole originality question,
We really have.
and even dipped our toes into the philosophical side of things. But where does this all lead us? What does the future hold for AI and creativity?
Well, one thing's for sure. The pace of development isn't slowing down. We're going to see AI integrated into more and more aspects of the creative process,
Yeah.
from music production to even writing novels.
And that raises some pretty interesting questions, like what happens when an AI writes a best-selling book or composes a chart-topping hit?
Yeah.
How do we deal with authorship and ownership when machines are creating right alongside humans?
It's already happening. We've got AI-generated artwork selling for millions at auction.
Wow.
Music composed by algorithms being featured in films and TV shows. The lines are definitely blurring,
Yeah.
and the legal system is definitely struggling to keep up.
It makes you wonder if we need a whole new framework for thinking about intellectual property in the age of AI.
Some legal scholars are already proposing ideas like non-human authorship,
Okay.
or even a system where AI-generated works just enter the public domain automatically.
Yeah.
It's uncharted territory. There's a lot to figure out.
Beyond the legal stuff, I'm curious about the impact on human artists. Will AI become a threat to their livelihoods, or will it be more of a tool, a way to enhance their creativity?
I think it's going to be a bit of both.
Okay.
There will inevitably be some displacement as AI takes over tasks that were previously done by humans.
Right.
But I also believe that AI will create new opportunities for artists who are willing to embrace this technology and incorporate it into their creative process.
So we're talking about a future where human and machine creativity kind of coexist
Yeah,
and even complement each other.
exactly. It's not about replacing artists. It's about augmenting their abilities.
Okay.
Imagine a painter using AI to generate variations on a theme, or a filmmaker working with an AI editor to refine their story. The possibilities are endless.
That's a pretty optimistic view, but are there any potential downsides we should be wary of?
Of course, one concern is bias and homogenization. If AI models are trained on data that reflects existing societal biases, they could end up perpetuating those biases in their creative output.
That's a good point. We need to make sure that AI is developed and deployed responsibly,
Yes.
with a focus on diversity and inclusion.
Absolutely. Another challenge is the potential for AI to be used to create deepfakes or other forms of synthetic media that could be used for malicious purposes.
Right.
We need to be vigilant about the ethical implications of this technology and develop safeguards to prevent misuse.
So it sounds like the future of AI and creativity is full of exciting possibilities and potential pitfalls.
It really is.
It's up to us to shape this technology in a way that benefits humanity and fosters creativity in all its forms.
I couldn't agree more. AI is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or ill.
Right.
It's our responsibility to ensure that it's used wisely and ethically, to unlock its creative potential while mitigating its risks.
This has been an incredible journey through the world of AI and creativity. We've explored the technical, the philosophical, the legal, and even the ethical dimensions of this complex and rapidly evolving field.
That's a lot.
And it's clear that we're just scratching the surface.
Absolutely.
As AI continues to advance, it will undoubtedly challenge our assumptions about creativity, originality, and what it means to be human.
It's true.
It's a conversation that we need to keep having, and I'm excited to see where it leads.
Me too. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be discussing a piece of art or music created by an AI that truly blows our minds.
Oh, wow.
Something that makes us rethink everything we thought we knew about creativity.
That would be something. But until then, I think we can all agree that AI is already having a profound impact on the creative landscape, and that impact is only going to grow in the years to come.
Definitely.
Thank you for listening to the History of AI podcast. Remember, as artist Rifik Anadol, who uses AI to generate art, argues, the machine doesn't replace the artist. It becomes the brush.